Welcome back to my channel Celebuzz. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. Provide some background on this woman. You tied the knot. I wed this woman, the dearest Catherine, my soulmate. Hello, Ross. The man has always been Sam Elliott, accompanied by a beard, a low voice, and the allure of a cowboy. On the other hand, difficult having, a kind heart, and loving a tale that was unknown to many. Playing the deserter, the nomad, the individual who declines find a comfortable position. Realistically, though, he has held for several years with just one woman, and we're at 80, he's giving it all he's got. The lady who were his allies. He refers to the woman as Themy's soulmate. His appearances in films, but you've scarcely laid eyes on him until now. The case. Come with us as we unveil the lady who got the better of Sam Elliott and refused to let go, return it. Yet in order to grasp the situation, now let's revisit and examine the location what started his trip. An individual with lofty aspirations and a raspy voice. Elliot, Sam came into this world on August 9, 1944, in near Sacramento, California. While he was growing up, his mom, a former state diving champion, Glennie reigning Texas champion. She subsequently served as who teaches exercise and fitness. The man who was his father, American citizen Henry Nelson Elliott, was employed by the state, assisting in the management of predators in the great outdoors. Sam's ancestors originated in El Paso, Texas, and he has a relative there, participated in surgery during the epic battle city of San Jacinto. At the age of 13, Sam got his settled in Portland, Oregon. Wow, that's during his adolescent years. Following his time at David Douglas, I graduated from high school in 1962. The years following graduation from high school, after enrolling at Oregon State, Sam trained in the fields of psychology and English, but served for a total of just 2 terms prior, withdrawing from the course. After that, he returned to I enrolled at Clark College in Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington. He was there experienced acting for the first time. It was performed in a school play as Big Jewel staging of the musical Guys and Dolls. A nearby the press lauded his efforts and even proposed that he take action in a business setting. Upon finishing high school, Clark University and university life received. Sam's second consider returning to the University of Oregon as a U.S. state. Together with that, he became a Sigma fraternity of Alpha Epsilon. However, circumstances necessitated his father's death from a cardiac arrest. Once again, Sam left. It experienced an agonizing moment. He was raised by his dad hadn't ever encouraged his ambition of taking up acting. He was once Sam's quote, while discussing the adage "you've got it bad" was given to meet the unlikelihood of ever experiencing a profession in the film industry. Despite Sam's father was skeptical of his dream, admired his dedication to his job and made an effort to model my behavior after that the story of his life. As the decade drew to a close, Sam uprooted their lives and headed west to pursue his fantasize about. In the course of his acting classes, he earned a living by working in construction. During his time in California, he was also in Air Venice Airport, his home to the National Guard. Things challenge, but Sam was prepared to embark on the job. The Walk of Fame welcomes a cowboy. Sam Elliott's charming appearance, soothing voice, and because of his charisma, he was ideal for media set in the Western genre. He made his initial significant in 1969 was his big break in television when he appeared defense in The Case of Judgment. Afterwards, he engaged in minor characters in vintage westerns include Lancer and Gunsmoke. A friend of his began their cinematic careers in the renowned movie Sundance Kid, Butch Cassidy, playing the role of a card player in the 1969 film Kid Whomever views Robert Redford's accuracy in shooting. Prior to 1970, Sam was a member of the Shown. In Mission Impossible and in multiple episodes, Doug Robert appeared. By in 1972, he was also making appearances in beer commercials, advertising a Western theme for the upcoming season beer brewed by the staff. He was starting to be seen as seasier for the film industry. When it came to brand new Cowboy has arrived in town. After landing a starring position in the television film I Will Fight Farewell, Eternity, a tale was recounted of the Nez Perce people and Chief Joseph fight to prevent being removed from the ground. Sam started playing the primary role and climbing the ladder of serious actor regard. He went on to star in 1976, a year after that, in Lifeguard, a film that established unexpected success. On screen, he was Rick Carlson. A lifeguard may begin to doubt his alternatives in life following a high school class reunion. However, despite the film's positive and negative feedback, Sam's performance was remove it. His powerful screen was praised by critics. In the story, regardless of whether the protagonist exert considerable influence over his destiny. His reputation increased with each new part, and viewers started to notice that Sam, beyond being an attractive cowboy, being also a gifted actor, hard work, weaponry, and responsibilities in terms of emotions. Both the late 70s and in the 1980s, Sam landed a string of big parts. His roles ranged from sympathetic cowboys to violent offenders. That year, 1977, he portrayed the character of Tom Keating in the miniseries Aspen Trees. By 1979, he had joined forces with Tom both in 1982, and once again in the Sacketts, Selich both in Shadow Riders, which are derived from works by Louis L'Amour. Such positions solidified his position in the realm of television genres of Western cinema. He made his film debut in 1981's Murder in Texas with Farrah Fawcett, and having a somebody who would thereafter come to be loved by on his life, Catherine Ross. At most years down the road in 1985, he co-starred with Cheryl Ladd in C.A., A Death Mystery. Additionally, he had a solid year that same year opposing Mask and Cher in a supporting capacity. Viewers witnessed Sam's softer side in 1989's holiday flick Prancer, where in the role he played, a parent made an effort to establish eye beside his daughter. At about the same period, he was in several TV movies, including Buffalo, Gone to Texas, and Girls. That Which Comes Second released him from the role of Sam Houston, revealing the will to win and the ability to influence abilities of the historical person. The experience was Sam gets another opportunity to demonstrate his depth within the realm of acting. His role as Wade was in 1989. Garrett and Patrick Sees in Roadhouse, an unyielding bouncer who eventually became loved by many. Back in 1991, Sam was the showstopper with Catherine Ross once more in from another Louis L'Amour novel, Kniger written work. What a dynamic duo, mirrored their actual relationship, a voice immortalized. Over time thereafter, Sam Elliott began to use a number of his most famous parts. By 1993, he had performed the role of John Buford, the general in an intense historical drama set at Gettysburg. He also portrayed the role of Virgil that year, Herp, in the timeless Western Tombstone. After that, a role that a lot of people are still discourse on, the Major Lebowski, 1998. Sam has portrayed the role of the mysterious cowboy narrator who, with a soothing voice, spins the tale. It was a remarkable performance in a little role. It went on to secure significant roles, including depicting the role of a resolute soldier in the film We Were in 2002, Soldiers and General Thaddeus M. in 2003, Ross appeared in Hulk. Dear Sir Madam, in 2005 he adopted a new persona while smoking. Type of ranch hand, a retired Marlboro guy who turned up with lung cancer. Quite an inconvenient reminder of how his image as a cowboy comes across been completely reversal. Sam uncovered additional listeners via means of voice parts. As of 2006, his voice was heard in Barnyard as Ben the Cow, and he voiced Buster in the 2010 film Hello, Marmaduke. Potentially unaware younger fans their prior efforts, however they were aware that voice. For the 2007 season, he was in The Ghost Rider, an action film, and the film The Golden Compass, while swapping on the big screen alongside actors and actresses, and James Craig. In 2009, he experienced a minor yet iconic part in Up in the Air, playing the part of Director of Flight, offering sound counsel to George Clooney's character. His arrival was delayed, played the role of Ron Dunn, a tranquil, carefree Ron reversed Swanson et al. Aside from it, he was in films like Dear Grandma in 2015, I Will Be Seeing You in My Dreams. Also in that year, he took home the Best Guest Performer, as chosen by critics. Actor played the part of in Justified. Amidst shifting fashions in Hollywood, Sam Elliott maintained his composure, his gravelly voice, powerful presence on TV and in real life with an air of perpetual modesty. And as time passed, numerous performers, Sam just appeared to gain greater esteem. Their turn that was caught off guard. Elliott. Sam had a long history of existence. However, in 2015 an unforeseen event occurred. His profession resumed its rapid ascent, much like was only beginning. As a member of the participants in the Netflix series The Ranchin', which he portrayed a kind yet firm son, in addition to Ashton Kutcher, and My Name is Danny Masterson. Audiences loved the presentation, and admirers, as well as Elliott's unruffled demeanor style, was a fantastic match. At roughly the same period, he was also a regular cast member in persona, Phil Milstein, in Grace and Michael I Am Frankie. People who saw that role were reminded of, he possessed the same comedic chops as drama. That wasn't all Elliott did. It was provided his renowned deep voice for the character Butch from the animated film, The Prehistoric Ape. He manages to keep his voice exuded warmth and depth. However, only especially that film really stuck out. A champion. His character, Lee Hayden, was a former Western star attempting a comeback to discover purpose as he ages. Dissenting opinions marveled at the execution. It was Joey McGidden. Elliot is described by award circuit as ideal situation. The protagonist personifies his best qualities encapsulated in one package. The video gave us a more personal aspect of Sam's life. A guy who reflects on his life, free from remorse, although in contemplation. Elliot finished the year embraced a daring and original endeavor. The Slayer of Hitler and subsequent extraterrestrial being. Though it's an odd title, however, his performance was far from satisfactory. Sam displayed his mettle once, more responsible positions, irrespective of thestery. However, he did not succeed until 2018. Got the level of acclaim he deserved, definitely merited. One position, one recommendation, a strong declaration. In Sam Elliott was the leading man in 2018's A Star Is Present during The Birth of Lady Gaga with Bradley Cooper. Lady Gaga. In his role as Bobby Maine, Elliot Cooper's older half-brother character. The dynamic between them in the film was emotional, genuine, and fraught with tension, and it made an indelible mark on both critics and audiences. This position involves altered the course of events. When Elliot performed, he won presented him with the National Board of Review Award in the category of Best Supporting Actor. However, what's more concerning is that, crucially, it resulted in the arrival of Heisen Oscar nomination for the first time. Of course, having been involved in the industry for so long, at long last, it had arrived. In addition, what did Sam mention that he was nominated for an Oscar? I come up with the idea spontaneously. Perhaps it's related to asterisks time with asterisks. He briefed reporters with honesty, with that timeless touch of humor. Only Sam Elliott could have written that line, was able to get off. Straightforward, heartfelt, and authentic. In addition to that, cast in SAG Award nominee honor for the identical position. It was obvious it was beginning a new chapter for Elliot enduring his professional life. I mean, who needs a cowboy with a well-respected actor, yet with a deep voice, someone could utterly destroy your heart with a single take a look. The true shock, though, was in the year 2022, the long-lost home of a Western hero yet again. Sam Elliott took a step back in 2022, into the realm that brought him fame, genres of Western cinema, playing the role of Shea Brennan in the popular prequel, Series 1883 to the well-known program Yellowstone. This past year, 1883, Elliot took on the role of a leader guiding a band of those seeking refuge from dangerous expanses of the American frontier's wilderness. This is not merely another role involving a cowboy. The experience was strong, profound, and moving. When Elliot persona was strong, yet fragile, courageous, though wounded. Starting in late 2021, the show into the beginning of 2022, and gave Sam a wholly different set of supporters. The way he died received some attention. He was named Screen Accolade from the Actors Guild for exceptional acting portrayal by a man in a television film or miniseries. That succeed established what many had suspected. All along, Sam Elliott has been gone for some time, while he was much improved. However, despite everything achievement, there is still a great deal of public I am not familiar with him. In other words, what is known as familiar with Sam Elliott, as a result of his work as a performer beginning in the during the 1960s. In a moment his voice and appearance are easily recognized, while that serene exterior cowboy style is a man who has few tales to tell, are aware of this. We can begin with his father. Sam had a good idea even as a little boy that he would wished he could play the role, but his father never saw that on the clock, as my dad used to say. The odds are against you in the snowball effect. According to Elliot, hell in Hollywood was a meeting with the interviewer. A reasonable person Sam was determined not to let it crush anyone. It was fueled up on it, and that inspired me. It was quoted as saying, "My dad was a decent down-to-earth guy, but his era was distinct. His dad tragically passed away from a heart attack aged at the young age of 54. Sam had just turned 18 years old. It was observed just a couple of my plays prior to his passed away." Sam informed Ape, "I believe he would be pleased that his son turned up to be an actress did." The words reveal the intimate working in this field has always been his passion. And also, there's the Hollywood sector that the casting process is rarely discussed couch. Actually, Sam Elliott does have stories. It is you do not trust the tales about the casting couch. Back in 1980, he said, "I could tell you, both of them had contacted him," he said, "individual genders. I have flipped each of them," he tacked on. "I've likely been hurt by it. However, it is I who must endure the company of that shame." From the beginning, Elliot remained with his principles. That sincerity entailed right up until his latter years. Regarding the question regarding the Hashmido movement, he failed to refrain from doing so. The thing that's been occurred in Hollywood for quite some time, he has reported by Variety. A different, less well-known tale, Lifeguard, his debut feature film, ought to have presented a significant advance. However, when Sam observed the billboard for the film featuring him alongside a couple of bikinis and dangling away from him, mystified. It stated, "No perched upon it, a girl's summertime fantasy. Wow," he exclaimed as he heard it. The film took itself seriously, yet the production company looked like an awful teen movie. Instead concerned with remaining silent, Sam voiced his opinion during the press conference events. "I became embroiled in a sticky situation." There, he remarked, this led him to never return to Paramount's employ, but that was always been Sam. Forthright, even in the face of he incurs costs as a result. Now this is something amusing and somewhat delightful. Sam Elliott opens up about Hyson Your Special Day with Smoke Okie the Bear. Their birthday was August 9th, 1944. Many years on. A subsequent episode, Sam voiced Smokey in TV advertising. This was a part he was very committed to. The message from Smoke Okie is indeed a significant one. His line was, only it turned into, "You can prevent forest fires." More potent in that profound, cozy voice. Having said that, in the beginning of Hishi's professional life he was advised to alter his voice. They insisted that I move faster and speak out, he coached. He made an effort, but it was off-putting. To my relief it didn't work out, he chuckled afterwards. A cowboy suited for a cinematic release. At times when a part is written for an actor, just before they confirm. It's precisely what occurred with Sam Elliott and the Large Lebowski, the Coen brothers, who produced the film Siblings, who penned the character of the outsider as I began to imagine Sam. His profound expression, his rugged good looks, it was all in before he even agreed to work on the script. But being the ideal match failed too easy filming. To be more specific, Sam's most significant moments. At the very end of the film was the most challenging. At his feet is Arcade having a one-on-one conversation with the imaging device. It's a peaceful, reflective moment. However, the Coen brothers coerced him into scenario repeatedly. A number between 8 and 9 requires precision. It was Sam's memory that came up, finally reaching a breaking point. I made the situation, and thought I did a better job of nailing it throughout the course of the conversation. So at last he spoke out and said, "Hey, you guys? You must inform me what the asterisk that you desire." Replied, "No, we received it on the 3rd or 4th take. We really enjoy witnessing I'll tell you everything there is to know about Sam has a gift. Regardless of his beliefs completed, further content is still desired. But toward the end of the film, there is another location that Sam genuinely finds, comfort home. The spot where everything seems like home. Maybe Sam Elliott is a Hollywood celebrity. Nonetheless, Oregon cherishes his soul. It was settled there at the tender age of 13. Over time he matured. When he resides in Portland now, he's in Malibu. He'll never forget the foundation. At a news conference, Sam stated a topic that resonated with me. The residence of my mother remains in Portland and we retain ownership. I spend a lot of time on it, he continued, spending time there, particularly in the Willamette Gorge close to Eugene. In the end, I'm intending to return to Oregon, he said. Spread the word. That's his goal, to return to the serene, verdant spot that he had. His wife and he take a summertime vacation they will remain at their Eugene home for around each month. He liked the laid-back lifestyle there. Errand running, outdoor maintenance, and dining at the seafood joint that he loves, and casino chips. His interview quips include that 3 times this week he dined there. At Eugene's, Sam even goes along with his daughter market on Saturday. His disguise consists of a stocking cap, regardless of the July heat. Thus, I appear to be no different from the other, he chuckled. I am Sam. Famous without being showy, relaxed in a pair of jeans, and joyful among the locals. But although he adores Oregon, there is a single he is completely unloving. Shun selfies. Thank you, but no. Given that the majority of famous people can't let go of their phones, in contrast, Sam Elliott is utterly different. It was disapproves of Twitter. The man isn't participating photo sharing app Instagram. Even email isn't something he uses. Plus, he isn't bashful about explaining why. People are staring at you from every angle, under their control. Sal informed AARP. In restaurants, the experience is similar to sitting in an area with jack-o'-lanterns. As a result, everybody's expression brightens when they mobile device. The previous manner is painful for him to remember. People, conversing in person, without the use of a device. The path. Regardless, he doesn't use any social media, has had zero impact on his notoriety. People identifying him doesn't require a tweet. In his speech is completely silent. I have a unique voice comes first in terms of recognition. It was the following. In school and church choruses, I transitioned from tenor to baritone, transformed into a bass in the end. By that point, I was certain that the voice I possess would serve as my tool. He also uses this tactic when he wants to blend in, uses an easy tactic. Okay, so what if I were to wish to conceal myself? I simply remain silent, he said with a laugh. His voice isn't the only thing that individuals discuss. That's something, isn't it, behind his back? As you can see, Sam Elliott in the mustaches. Fame is such that it could personally see the signing of signatures. But Sam doesn't comprehend the fuss. The entire, I don't understand this mustache thing, he said, stated during a conversation. In the midst of anecdote about a fan that the hero told his preoccupation with his beard took center stage, he still wasn't entirely clear on it. That's somewhat strange, isn't it? It was admitted that he had shaved his head at some point on set, but it seemed out of place. I managed a sensation of being completely exposed, admitted, but he took great pride in being a pioneer among his contemporaries to put one on. Along with Tom Selleck, I was first things first, he grinned. In fact, a competition was held on the internet between to determine who possessed them or attractive beard. Samantha merely chuckled, turned off. It's so bizarre, he remarked. Each and every one of time, his notoriety and wealth continued to expanding, yet money was never the impetus had. Sam Elliott's fortune, with more than, after half a century. In the entertainment industry, Sam Elliott has an impressive resume, achieved great success on his own. The total amount he's valued at approximately $20 million, nevertheless, accomplished nothing by aiming high paychecks. To do this, he adhered to his gut. I have no experience working for pay. To The Guardian, Sam revealed the news. Over the years, I've always decided on most things on my own. For him, the tale is more important than the money. Everything that appears on the site, he declared. Indeed, it necessitated a shift along a few high-paying professions. Actually, he has participated in film projects that essentially nobody noticed, but that's fine with Sam. Ultimately, the task at hand is what concerns him, the procedure, the group he is part of. Assuming that isn't going to be able to take pleasure in that, about it incorrectly, he stated. Furthermore, when it comes to his last remark, was in the style of a cowboy. At times, the act itself becomes food. At times, it's a devouring process. Despite whatever he has when he achieves success, Sam Elliott kept in mind what is truly important, working alongside the ones he holds dear. Moreover, there is someone who supported him during it, everyone, on-screen and off-screen included. A slow-burning romance. Sam is since Elliott and Catherine Ross's for nearly 4 decades, but the romantic tale truly began a long time ago. It all started in the 60s on Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Film Festival Kid Sundance. Annie Ross's name was featured actress. Sam was merely incidental, not included. She went unspoken to by him. He merely looked up to her and admired her. I failed. 'Twould have the guts to approach her at that moment, he would eventually said. Quite the starring lady she was. On one hand, I was a cast by the wall's shadow. A long time had gone prior, they were reunited by chance, and they both landed roles in a film in 1978, known as The Legacy. At this point, they performed romantic roles in films, and genuine tension began to rise off-screen, in addition. Just now, Ross had completed her 4th. She was prepared to relocate due to her marriage coming up. Sam took action at that moment. They began dating, and soon after, immediately thereafter. When May 1984 rolled around, Thea married couple. Months after that, Cleo Rose, their daughter, was warmly greeted. That would be Elliot. After that, they stopped, simply lived together. Their professional paths crossed, aspirations, and a life spent diligently pursuing passionate love. A union formed via mutual regard plus genuine exertion. Weddings in Hollywood are frequently brief and violent. However, this is not only one. Catherine Ross and Sam Elliott have maintained their strength for almost 40 years. How do they pull this off? If you believe Sam, the simplicity belies its potency. Each one of simultaneously while we strive to achieve our goals. Within an in-depth discussion, he clarified that beyond romantic relationships, it's linked to effort. Above and beyond all else, desire for matrimony is required. According to him, his Sam's life revolved around marriage and acting. Primary objectives. Both of these topics that I always dreamed of having a movie and occupation. Tie the knot, start a family, that he mentioned. Additionally, it happens to be in what a hoard of wealth I possess either one. Nor was Ross merely a bystander, ride. Respected for her acting chops, she has in their own right. A Los Angeles native, born in 1940, she had a Hollywood upbringing, and afterwards, at Walnut Creek. As a college student, her acting career took off once she filling the role of King George III. She did left to become a member of the acting cast San Francisco workshop. She began my acting career was full of little parts, yet, she persisted. I reigned supreme over her interview. She made a joke about screen tests. She finally got her big break in The Graduate, a part that brought her a Golden Globe and Oscar consideration. Amidst her personal achievements, Ross and Elliot, and he achieved harmony by working together in the bond of matrimony and in the mutual devotion to playing the role. Their ability to assist one another was different, both in the house and while all done. They became even closer as time went on, more powerful. The endeavors that resulted in their more intimate. Love blossomed between the two of them. During the filming of The Legacy, their persistence persisted, collaborating over the intervening years that came after. They played multiple roles movies on television, such as Travis McGee Connor, in addition to Houston and The Legend of Texas. Indeed, Sam had previously claimed that Conniger was a high point in my professional life. They went so far as to reconnect. In 2017's The Hero, where both Sam and Catherine portrayed elderly actors, represented his ex-wife. However, it was more than in relation to performing. Sharing was the theme, an original idea. The process of making motion pictures. If you ask Sam, it's a whole new vitality to return home with associate with whom you are collaborating. In all of these endeavors, the enjoyment has remained constant. Staying alive. They tease, they encourage one another, and they've figured out how to blend in both their private and public spheres while retaining their affection. Quite seldom in California, but for Sam and Catherine operates without any problems. And although they have invested, they've had their fair share of fame. Sam prioritized the upbringing of their daughter, respectfully and discreetly. Rose Cleo Elliott was born about 4 months subsequent to Sam's, and Catherine tied the knot. Rather than going into the performing industry like her parents, she discovered her own musical voice. In her debut album, 2008's Number Again, Falsehoods, she has persisted in making performs music, and both of her parents have encouraged her throughout. My folks are completely on board with this. Cleo, one may say. They're simply pleased that I am not. Cleo frequently participates in attending glamorous events such as an award-winning film that premiered in 2018 and this year's Oscars. Despite this, her journey has taken an unexpected turn. She openly expresses their imagination. Sam was presented with the 2023 SAG Award for his in the 1883 role of Shea Brennan. However, an emotional moment that resonated with all the victory, it was his post-match remarks. I am eternally grateful to my wife, my stunning, through thick and thin. Catherine has been my partner. Slim, and the lady who gave birth to our stunning daughter, he remarked orally. It was more than just accepting a trophy, quite a heartfelt expression of love. When the red carpet is beaming, they had a little shared looks, their enduring laughter, seen as a whole. It narrates the tale. A tale of two individuals who discovered they remained united and created a life for themselves serene, revered, and brimming with affection strength. Among Sam Elliott's possible focus, his commanding presence and gruff personas, but at the heart of it all is a guy who respects his loved ones. Maybe Catherine Ross began with 4 marriages that ended in divorce. However, in Sam, she discovered a genuine connection. She had already mentioned what initially attracted for him. It was likely all of the above and more. Additionally, it yet appears to be correct. In your opinion, what relative to their partnership? Talk about ideas in the space provided below. And make sure you press that like button, subscribe, and be sure to check back for other inspiring tales about the intriguing history of Hollywood.